So you mentioned the idea of interdependence, and there is such a fear right now in our society of codependence. That's so codependent that you want me to text you or give me a phone call before bed. I'm not going to do that. That's codependent to rely on each other, which that to me, that's not codependent. So can you tell us the difference between interdependence and codependence and why we want to be interdependent?
Well, first things first. The problem with our need as human beings to categorize everything, it's like everything else. It's a feature and a bug. The feature is we need to categorize things in order to organize our experience, right? And so in science, we classify, categorize to understand that which we are looking at or studying. The same thing in medicine, the same thing in psychiatry, the same thing in psychology. We come up with categories, for better or worse, to understand why somebody is suffering, what we can do about it, right? How can we treat that? When it becomes popularized, people use these terms as a cudgel to hit each other over the head and to otherize each other or themselves, right? And that's not the intention of, well, let's go back to the word codependency. It was actually coined when I was still working as a therapist during the time of the co-alcoholic. This was an AA term, co-alcoholic, alcoholic. The co-alcoholic would be the enabler, the person who is looking to the partner like the partner looks to the alcohol, a one direction only relationship, right? One direction only. And that morphed into codependency with John Bradshaw and Beatty and all sorts of other people during that time. Codependency, co-alcoholic, was the person who was enabling the alcoholic. So codependency then became someone who is needy and somebody who will do anything to keep the relationship, even though it's only in one direction and it's unfair and unjust. Then it morphed into worse things, pejorative things that really sound terrible and pathologizing of what codependency is. I won't get into some of those terms, but okay, so it's a little bit aggravating because dependency has gotten a bad name. Yet our species, by nature, the human primate, is a dependency animal. We're pack animals. We group in herds, and so we are, by definition, we're not hyenas. We're not lone wolves. We do depend on each other. Dependency is something we obviously know about when we are very young, infants, and when we become very old, right? Even though we don't like it. Interdependency is a whole different idea that is really two independent, autonomous adults operating when unionizing based on terms and conditions, deal or no deal. You and I get together not hopefully based on just love, because love isn't enough. That gets us in the door. It doesn't sustain relationship. We have to organize according to what's in it for us. What's in it for me? Why should we be doing this? Why are we a couple? Why do we even exist? What's the point of us, right? If that's not defined, then we could become codependent, or one of us could be putting more into the pot than the other in hopes that the other will come around. That is not a fair and equal system, right? Interdependence means you and I have the same things to gain and the same things to lose. We're equal shareholders. Our fates are tied. Therefore, we're two generals. We're two executives, or two bosses, two leaders. We're at the top of the food chain. We are accountable to each other and everyone else to us. That means that codependency can't exist, right? It's counter interdependent. It's counter secure functioning. You've got to do this. I've got to do this. We both agreed, so you're going to do it, right? We have the equal power to enforce. We have equal leverage. That's not independence, because we're working together like a team, any more than a team. The members are independent. They can only be independent so far as they're team players. right? So that's what the term means as I'm defining it.
Thank you, Stan. So it sounds like in the way that I've been observing codependency, the word codependency used, it's kind of well, that feels uncomfortable to me, so I'm going to label it codependent.
Yeah. Or you're doing something I don't like and it's foreign to me, or it's something I don't think I should do. And let's see if I can come up with a word for that.
Sending you lots of love. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and check out one of these lovely videos. Thanks for being part of this community, and we'll see you next time.